Let me take you back to the moment I almost gave up on learning English. I was frustrated, tired, embarrassed. Every word felt like a mountain. But then something clicked, and it changed everything. If you're feeling stuck right now, this story is for you. I remember one night I was sitting at my desk. I had books, papers, and notebooks everywhere. My phone was playing a video about English grammar, but I wasn't really listening. I felt tired. My head hurt. I'd studied so much, but I still couldn't speak English. I knew many words, but the words didn't come out. When I tried to speak, I stopped, I forgot, or I said it wrong. One day, I went to a coffee shop. I wanted to practice English. The woman at the counter smiled and said, "Hi, how are you?" I panicked. I wanted to say, "I'm fine, thank you. I'd like a coffee." But I froze. I just stood there and said, yes. Coffee, please." She was kind, but I felt embarrassed. I walked away thinking, why is this so hard for me? Later, I looked in the mirror and tried to talk. My voice sounded strange. I felt nervous. I didn't sound like the people in the videos. I thought to myself, maybe I'm not good at English. Maybe I will never learn. Maybe I should stop. I closed my notebook. I wanted to quit. But then a small voice in my mind said, "Try one more time." That night, I sat on my bed. I looked at my notebook, but I didn't open it. I just sat there thinking. I felt tired. My eyes were heavy. My heart felt heavy too. I had tried so hard and still I could not speak. I thought, maybe I will always be afraid to talk. But then something small, something deep inside me said, "No, you can do this. You're not done yet." I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I told myself, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. So I made a promise. Every day I will speak, even one sentence, even with mistakes. No excuses. The next morning, I didn't open a grammar book. I didn't study new words. I looked in the mirror and said one simple sentence. "Good morning. I am learning English." I said it again and again, 10 times. My voice was quiet at first, but with each word, it grew stronger. I still felt a little silly, but I also felt proud. For the first time, I didn't feel stuck. I felt hope. I felt something new. I felt possible. And that moment was the beginning of everything. I didn't change everything in one day, but I changed one thing. I started speaking every day, not for an hour, just a few minutes. While I was getting dressed, while I was brushing my teeth, while I made breakfast, I said things like, "I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. Today is a good day." At first it felt strange. I wasn't sure if I was saying it right. But no one was listening. No one was judging me. It was just me and my voice. Then something amazing happened. After a few days, the words started to come faster. I didn't have to stop and think so much. I didn't have to translate in my head. One morning, I went back to the same coffee shop. The woman at the counter smiled and said, "Hi, how are you?" And this time, I didn't freeze. I smiled back and said, "I'm great, thank you. I'd like a small coffee, please." She nodded and said, "Your English is really good." I almost laughed. I wanted to say, "You should have seen me last week." But I just said thank you and walked away with my coffee and the biggest smile on my face. That was the first time I felt it. Real progress. A few days later, I was watching a YouTube video, all in English. Normally, I needed subtitles. But this time I understood the whole first sentence, then the second, then the third. I paused the video and smiled. "I understood that," I whispered. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it gave me power. One afternoon, my friend messaged me. He was trying to write a message in English, but he was confused. He sent me a screenshot and said, "What does this mean? Is this sentence correct?" I read it, I understood it, and I helped him fix it. I didn't just understand English that day. I used it. I helped someone. And I realized I'm not just learning anymore. I'm growing. After those small wins, I realized something very important. I didn't need more grammar books. I didn't need a perfect accent. I didn't need to know every word in the dictionary. What I really needed was a simple system, a routine that I could do every day without stress, without fear, and without giving up. So here's what I did, and maybe it can work for you too. I started by speaking every day, just a little, not an hour, not even 30 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 2. I would talk to myself while brushing my teeth. I am brushing my teeth. It's morning. Today will be a good day. Or while cooking, I am cutting vegetables. The water is hot. I like rice. It felt strange at first. I even laughed at myself sometimes, but it helped me. It helped my brain get used to thinking in English. And slowly, speaking became less scary. Then I started repeating sentences out loud. Not just any sentences. I picked them from movies or YouTube videos. But here's the important part. I didn't just say the words. I copied the feeling. One night I heard a movie character say, "Don't give up. You're stronger than you think." I paused the video, rewound it, said it myself. Don't give up. You're stronger than you think. The first time, my voice was soft, quiet, unsure, The second time, a little louder. The third time, stronger. And after 10 times, I felt like I was telling that message to myself. That sentence wasn't just practice. It became motivation. Next, I stopped writing word lists and I started writing little stories.
Let's say I learned 5 new words: happy, park, walk, friend, surprise. I used all 5 in a story like this. I walked in the park with my friend. We laughed. I felt happy. Then, surprise! It started to rain. Now I had a memory, a feeling, a picture in my mind. And the words? I didn't forget them, because they were part of a story I made myself. I also listened differently. I stopped being passive and started listening like a detective. If someone said something like, "What are you up to today?" I didn't ignore it. I stopped and thought, what does that mean? I knew the words, what, you, today, but this sentence felt new, so I looked it up. It meant, what are you doing today? Simple, but now I had a real sentence that real people use. And once I learned a phrase like that, I used it. I repeated it. I listened for it again in other videos. And slowly, my English started to sound more natural. Then came the scary part, talking to other people. One day, I saw a message online about an English conversation group. Free practice, open to beginners. My heart was beating fast when I joined. I almost left before it started, but I told myself, just say one sentence, just try. So when it was my turn, I said something simple. I think I said, "Hello, I am learning English. I am happy to be here." That's it. And guess what? They smiled, they understood me, and they were kind. Nobody laughed, nobody corrected me. They just said, "Welcome." And in that moment, I felt brave. I felt strong. I wasn't just a student anymore. I was communicating. The last thing I added was journaling. Every night before bed, I opened a notebook. I wrote in English, even if it was just a few words. At first, it looked like this. Today, I was tired. I ate pasta. I watched TV. But after a few weeks, it started to grow. Today I was tired, but I studied anyway. I watched an English video and understood the first 2 minutes. That made me feel proud. Writing helped me see my progress, even on bad days. It showed me, look how far you've come. This was my system. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't fast, but it worked, not because it was easy, but because I did it anyway. After 1 month, something changed. Not everything. I still made mistakes. I still forgot words. I still felt nervous sometimes. But the fear? It started to disappear. I wasn't afraid to speak anymore. Even if I said something wrong, I didn't freeze. I didn't feel embarrassed. I just kept going. My voice got stronger. My sentences got longer. My confidence got bigger. I remember walking down the street, and for the first time, I was thinking in English, not translating, not guessing, just thinking. I looked at a tree and said in my head, "That's a big tree. The leaves are green. The sky is blue." It was simple, but it felt like magic, because just 1 month before, that would have been impossible. I also started to notice small things. I could understand more the videos I watched. I didn't need subtitles as much. I knew how to respond in conversations, even short ones. One night, I was helping a friend write a message in English, and for the first time, he said, "Wow, you're really good at this." I laughed and said, "I used to be so afraid of English, but now, English is not scary anymore. It's part of my life now." The biggest change wasn't my vocabulary. It wasn't my pronunciation. It was something deeper. I started to feel connected to people, to stories, to the world. Before, when someone spoke English to me, I felt small. I would smile, but I didn't know how to answer. Now, I could talk back. I could share my ideas, ask questions, laugh at jokes. I wasn't just listening anymore. I was part of the conversation. One day at the park, a woman asked me, "Is that your dog? He's so cute." And without fear, I said, "Yes, he's very friendly. He loves people." We started talking, just for a few minutes, but it felt so good. I didn't feel like a tourist in my own life anymore. I felt like I belonged, like I had a voice. That's what learning English gave me, a way to connect, a way to feel seen, a way to share who I really am. I didn't start this journey with perfect English. I started with fear. I started with doubt. I started with one simple sentence, and every day I added another. One sentence became a habit. That habit became progress, and that progress became confidence. If I can do it, so can you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Speak a sentence out loud right now. It can be anything, something simple, something true. I am learning English. I will not give up. Today is the day I try. Say it, whisper it, shout it, but say it. Let your voice be heard, even if you're the only one listening, because today you are not just a learner. You are becoming a communicator, a connector, a storyteller. You are becoming who you were always meant to be, in English.
We hope you enjoyed the story. Now let's see how much you could understand. Here are some words or phrases that we think might have given you some trouble. Let's review them. Stuck. Stuck means not moving forward. Heavy. Usually this means weighs a lot, but we used it a bit differently in our story. Heavy eyes means sleepy. Heavy heart means sad. Excuse. An excuse is a reason that you can't do something. Often they are not good reasons. No excuses. This means you are going to do something no matter what. Progress. This is the opposite of stuck. It means you are moving forward. Passive. This means not taking action. It is the opposite of active. Ignore. This means to not pay attention to something. Journaling. This is when you write for your own reading, usually in a notebook called a journal. Were there any other words or phrases that you didn't understand? If so, put them in the comments. Now, see if you can answer these questions with full sentences. Put your answers in the comments. Who is this story about? What was the problem in the story? How was the problem resolved? Can you relate to anyone in the story? If so, explain. How did you do? Could you answer all the questions? If you enjoyed this lesson, click here for another learning video. If you enjoyed this lesson, click here for another learning video.